Greetings, I'm Demonac, and it's arena time. Right, so starting to feel like I'm running out of things to say about the Mage, which is pretty sad. There are a lot of other classes that I've got a lot of things to, explain or just try and give you an idea of what they can do. It's hard to play and do that in a game, because there are a ton of strategies. I haven't even actually dealt with all the Mage strategies, right? Some Mages, rather than trying to fight it out the whole game, I mean, I talked about they have those crazy starts that they can get. But there are also some Mages who just try and stall the whole game. You play with 2 Frost Novas, which is 3 mana, freeze all your opponent's creatures. Every time you Frost Nova, you pretty much waste your opponent's next entire turn. They can play more things, but they can't attack with anything that isn't charged. So 2 of those, 2 Cone of Colds, 2 Blizzards, which Blizzard is a rare version of Flame Strike. It's 6 mana. It only does 2 damage instead of 4, but it also freezes all your opponent's minions. And between all those things, you can eat so many, you can just waste so many of their turns. If you have some card drawing stuff to help you get those and to help you get your things, the spells that you need to finish your opponent with. So the idea is to just kind of keep freezing all the stuff and delaying your opponent, and eventually you just start blowing them up with all your fireballs, any frost bolts that you didn't have to use on minions, and pyroblasts, which is just 10 mana, deal 10 damage for 1 card.
What to do?
Against a Warlock, I am going to want to be pretty aggressive, and I have a lot of 2-cost things in my hand, so coining out a 2-cost minion is pretty great. I'm going to go with the River Crocolisk. The extra hit point he has over these guys makes him a lot tougher against actual minions, and also there's a Warlock card that's 2 mana to deal 2 damage to a minion. Plus, even if I got her out and she didn't die, I wouldn't be able to do that much with her next turn. Next turn I'm only going to have 2 mana. The first minion I play would be 1, and then I'd have 1 mana left and her ability would be used, so I still wouldn't be able to play 2 things. Whereas next turn, if she survived, I would be able to play 2 things. So we're going to try that. Or are we? I could trade this for that guy, like they'll both die. And then play this. It's not that much better. You know what? I'd rather keep this guy with his extra hit point. I'm going to use the Bluegill Warrior to blow this up. And I'm going to actually hit for 2 damage and keep my toughest minion in play, even though it's kind of sad that this is the toughest minion. I've got it till about turn 5. Warlocks tend to play with a lot of cheap minions because their crazy ability, right? It does 2 damage to himself, and it still costs 2 mana, but it draws a whole card, and a card is worth way more than the other class ability, right? I usually value all these hero abilities at about 1/3 of a card. This one is worth a whole card. It just costs you more. Wow, another one. I'm glad I don't have weapons, because they'd be getting messed up. There's no good way to do this. My shooting isn't going to do enough. It's not going to change the situation. There's no way I can flip one of these guys' health that's going to be good enough. Although maybe, since he died in trading with him anyway, and since a 2/2 can kill this guy anyway, maybe I should just play this and attack. Just kind of aggressive. I was hoping to get her out and survive. But the other thing is, maybe I'll just play her and let her die, because he's going to have to kill her, and then I can keep attacking with the other stuff. Yeah, why not? Her ability isn't going to make or break me. And the faster I can get his health down, the fewer cards he's going to be able to draw over the course of the game. Because that's the thing, if I'm not hurting him, he'll just keep casting cards, and when his hand starts running out, he can draw a second card every turn. And if he has more life than me, it's kind of like it's free. Really? He would rather kill that than this. Well, okay, that's because that wins the fight, but he has made a mistake, because now, for only 4 mana, I can play Gigantor. I think that was an error. I think he really... all that my Croc had was one extra hit point. He would have been better off using his 3-2 to kill her. So this wouldn't happen. Oh, he's going to heal that. Well, that's pretty interesting. So I could shoot my own guy and then kill her, because mine would be a 5-6, right? Hit her. He'd only have 2 hit points left, though, and he'd die to this. So I'm thinking Cone of Cold and then kill this guy, which will get my guy buffed and stop her from attacking next turn, and start the giant stalling war of obnoxiousness. Other choices: if I play him, then this guy can kill that outright still, and I'd have 2 mana left to do something else. Actually, that's pretty good too, isn't it? Okay, maybe I'll save the Cone of Colds. We'll try this strategy. Because she doesn't quite deal enough damage to kill him. And she would die. And... I could flip him and turn him into a 5-6, which would be stronger. I don't know how much difference it would make, though. Let's do it because it gives me another guy in play. Why not? This guy does such weird things. Because my guy was getting a temporary +1 attack from this guy. But when you trigger this guy's ability to swap the power and toughness, it takes those temporary stats and makes them permanent. And then, guess what? This guy still tries to give all minions +1 attack. So he does. The way it works is messed up. Hellfire, okay. He's just gonna trade, get rid of this thing. He's like, nope, I've had enough of that. Fair enough. Yeah, he has a lot of 2-mana averagey sort of minions, which is not a bad strategy for a Warlock in the arena. It makes sense, right? So that can kill this guy, but I'm not going to Cone of Cold and shoot him, take my whole turn to do nothing. Now, do I play this guy, let him trade and kill it, or do I just play her? Oh, I don't have enough mana to do both. Okay, I'm just going to play her, heal myself for 2. She's a fairly big minion, and if she takes some damage and doesn't die somehow, then I can bounce her, and when I play her again, she'll trigger her healing again. Which would be kind of fun. So if he doesn't do something to kill her, I'm going to use her, kill one of these guys, then return her to my hand. And play her again right away. Uh-oh. No, he found a way to finish her off. Because the Warlocks have all these cards with drawbacks, including the drawback of discarding a card at random. Lets him do 4 damage for 0 mana. Because it's still a pretty big drawback, discarding a card. But if he can get his hand empty and then do this, then it's got no drawback. It's just 0 mana, deal 4 damage to any minion or hero or what. It's just like insane at that point. So now this is not working out as well. It was going to be awesome. Now it's not as much. So I think I'm going to delay a little bit. I'm going to Cone of Cold. And I can play the Mirror Entity. Chances are he'll have small minions to play, waste my Mirror Entity. There's not much I can do about it. But it seems like a decent time. I'm delaying things with the Cone of Cold because I just did not have anything good to do. This is wearing them down too, because I can shoot him next turn, he'll be dead. Glory to the Sindora. Okay, so I get a 3/3. Not that exciting. And then he blows it up. Because he's getting 2 cards a turn, he can afford to do stuff like that. None of these guys are worth polymorphing, that's for sure. Well, I'm going to Cone of Cold them all, because it'll kill him, and I can keep wearing down the other ones. Play this guy. Shoot him. I have a lot more hit points, but I'm running out of cards fast, and he has tons of cards, so I'm going to have a really hard time overcoming this. I needed one of those. I needed to draw my Flame Strike last turn or something like that. Instead of wasting another cheap Cone of Cold, I could have wiped out his whole army, and then it'd be okay. Oh, I'm gonna have to polymorph that guy, and then I'm gonna have nothing left. Or I could Flame Strike and then kill him with this. I have so much more health, I might Flame Strike and let him hit me for 6. I might just hit him again. Because it'll make it really hard for him to draw like cards. Well, I'm going to Flame Strike no matter what, I think. I'm not going to polymorph him first. So yeah, I could just kill that guy, and it's probably stupid not to. The problem is, see, I have this tough problem. Normally you should always do this. To kill him, and I probably still should. Just clearing the board. When your opponent has better stuff than you on the board, you want to clear the board, pretty much. But I have more hit points than him, and he has. I don't have any more minions in my hand. He has lots more cards, so my minion is worth more to me than his is to him, even though his is huge. The problem is if he uses a card to kill this, like, hitting him, getting him down lower will make it harder and harder for him to draw cards safely, but if I'm taking 6 damage every turn, it's not going to be good. Well, I'm going to reserve the option to polymorph him later, even though it's going to really hurt to be polymorphing a badly beat-up ogre, but now he has to think twice about drawing cards. He'll probably do it once or twice more, but he's getting so low, right? What if I draw a Fireball? Fireball can do 6 damage, then I can still shoot him, that's 7. So if he draws 2 more cards, then he's really in death range. He has to worry about that.
So many possibilities.
At some point, you just kind of have to learn what cards every class has, and for the arena, you want to know how common they are, because you have to hold out the possibility that no matter how rare the card is, they might have it. You got to remember that. But it's the common cards. See, he's got an epic giant there, which really sucks for me. If I hadn't hit him, then this guy probably wouldn't have come out, and I'd be in a better position. Oh well, I'm going to polymorph him. Heal myself for 3. This guy is big enough to kill the ogre right now. But I guess I'm going to have to kill the sheep. Can't let him keep building up forces. But yeah, if I had just killed this instead of hitting him for 3, then he might not have been able to play that Molten Giant. Or certainly he wouldn't be able to do as much during his turn. He couldn't have played the Molten Giant and Siphon Souled my guy. Yeah, if you can learn what the common cards, even just the common cards for each class, you'll have a good idea of the things that they're likely to be able to do, like more likely to have in their hand, and more likely to be able to do more than once in a game, as opposed to the rares. That is not the card I needed right now. See, this doesn't help my board position at all this second, other than confusing him a little bit, but it won't stop him from doing anything. Yeah, I am in big trouble. I don't even know why I shot him. I should have shot him in case I draw a Flame Strike. Although I guess if I get a Flame Strike, I can kill him anyway. Whereas, oh, so doomed. I'm seeing the end of the run here. Well, he's got Taunt, which is useful. You know what? I'm going to shoot him. Because now he's big enough to kill this guy. Now, the Warlock might just have some other way to kill him. Probably does. Or he would hit him with this. Yeah, so he still got rid of one of them. It's triggered my Ice Block, so I took no damage from that, right? Because he killed me in one... Like, the hit that triggers it does no damage. But I'm so doomed. I can't kill that, and I can't stop him from killing me, basically. There's no way. Flame Strike's not even going to do enough now. And neither is that. Shoot her bubble, because that's how much difference it makes. So you see, Warlock, very strong, is very good class to have in the arena, because just drawing cards is about the strongest thing there is. That's why it costs them 2 life every time, and everyone else's abilities cost 0 life. Anyway, well, we're going to see what I got in this arena run. I don't think it was as informative as the Druid one, but then again, if you watch the Druid one, then I've explained a lot of things, and hopefully that helps. So I got 20 dust, that is 1/5 of a rare card, which is not that great. 35 gold. It cost me 150 to enter, and the pack is worth 100, 35 gold, and I only lost 15 gold, and I got 20 dust for it. It kind of break even. So, that makes sense. Now let's see what I got in the pack. Which is usually boring, but every once in a while it's exciting. Okay, so we got the Questing Adventurer. He's pretty interesting. He can do crazy things. Like, a 2/2 for 3 is not very good. Okay? But whenever you play any card, he gets +1/+1. So you don't want to play him as soon as you have 3 mana. That'd be kind of silly. Like, he's just a 2/2. He's very fragile. Anything that your opponent played for 2 or 3 mana could easily kill him. In fact, most 1 mana creatures can kill him. So you save him until you can play him, and then play 1 or 2 more cards right afterwards, and get him up to like a 4/4 or something. Right? If you play him for 3 mana, and then you play 2 1-mana cards, then he's still going to be a 4/4 that you only paid 3 for. It total it took you 5 mana, but you got stuff for those other 2 cards that you paid. Anyway, this is a weird pack that I got 2 of the same thing. It's a very strange card too, the Soul of the Forest. Because you cast this whatever minion you cast this when you have a bunch of minions in play, and they all gain that Death Rattle ability. It'll trigger when they die. So whenever your current minions die, they turn into 2/2 treants. Unless you have a combo with this, I probably wouldn't play this card, because here's what it normally does. If you're losing, it does nothing. You draw this and you're like, what am I going to do? I have no minions because I'm losing, right? When you're losing, you have very few minions in play, if any, because your opponent will try and keep the board clear. So if you're losing, this card helps you not at all. If you're winning, this card, you probably have several minions out. This card will help make it harder for your opponent to come back, right? Because now whenever they kill one of your minions, you're going to still get something. And if it's a big area spell that kills everything, then you'll get all the little treants, right? They'll all come back and not have been affected by the initial spell. But you were already winning, right? So anything you got would have helped you continue winning. If this was just another 4-mana minion, that would have helped you continue winning, right? Or any other spell. So, is it that useful? I don't know. You were already winning. And if the game is close to even, how much is this really doing? Not a whole lot. You each have 1 minion out. It's not going to do anything. If you each have 2 minions out, this might actually be pretty helpful, but that's not a situation you can always count on. So yeah, it's a little bit too odd. The Sorcerer's Apprentice is amazing, though. This is one of those things, if you're playing a Mage deck, if you want those quick starts, this is one of those class cards that might actually be worth crafting. You can make a common for 50 dust. It's kind of a waste of dust, but when you're starting out, if you pick one class and you want to concentrate on that class a little bit, I still try and save my dust for neutral cards early on, but if you're playing a specific class all the time, it's probably worth crafting some of their really good common stuff. Just because, like, having 2 of these in a Mage deck opens up all those possibilities. You play with the 2 Arcane Missiles, those are like basic cards, you have them. You play with 2 Mana Worms, they're common, like the Sorcerer's Apprentice, so it shouldn't be too hard to get them. You play with 2 Mirror Images, those are a basic card. And suddenly you have all these different possible really fast starts that you can get just from having those few things. In fact, I'd be tempted to put those in a deck which was otherwise kind of slower, right? A Mage deck that is slower, because the Mirror Images will help to keep you alive, keep you in the game long enough to get your slower strategy going. Sorcerer's Apprentice is a perfectly strong creature for the cost, and your opponent really wants to kill it because they're afraid of what you're going to do when all your 1-cost spells cost 0, or just if it lets you cast a big spell 1 turn sooner. So, it gives you a lot of options, but we might have different priorities. Anyway, I should let you go, but we'll see what I can do next time. If you enjoyed this, please activate the like button. And don't forget to subscribe to Demonet Games for more Hearthstone Arena and other gaming videos.